Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? It's Katie here, the Mountain Mystic, and I'm so happy to be here with you today once again from the mountains, this time in the San Juan Mountains of Southwest Colorado, my most favorite mountains to visit. And I couldn't be happier to have 3 to 4 days up here to do a bunch of running, hiking, and working my mountain magic in the way that I do. And I wanted to kick things off by shooting this video for you guys, an opportunity to join me in this practice that we do here, this practice that has everything to do with tuning into self, tuning into nature, tuning into this earth, a practice of connection, in a lot of ways, a practice of healing, a practice often of calling in the light, embodying that joy, those good things we want to feel and experience in this life. More than anything, this practice is a practice of remembering. It's a practice of remembering ourselves as nature, as part of this earth. It's a practice of dissolving the false narrative that we as humans are separate from this earth. And so in this video, I'm going to bring you this practice, an invitation to join in the way we do things here. This is an embodiment practice for those of you who have not done this with me before. It is an embodiment practice. It is a practice of going inward, going into self, and from this space, deepening into connection with this earth, perhaps expanding out into connection with this earth. This is a practice where we get to play. It's a practice where I get to be led as I lead you. Every time we do this practice, it comes out a little bit different. So coming to you from these mountains this beautiful evening, just as the sun is setting, I'm excited to bring to you what's here for us to do today. So let's get started. First things first today, diving straight into practice. After practice, as I do, there will be more conversations. There's just, speaking to you through teachings, through story, whatever's here to come through today. But before that, let's go into practice. Let's begin today's practice. Taking a moment to tune into self. Lots of times we, watch YouTube videos, multitasking or scrolling through things, kind of that chaotic energy. Just a moment here, kind of take an exhale and just let that go. As you start to take some deeper inhales into self, you might begin by feeling into the expansion of your chest. I like to feel into that three-dimensional expansion of my rib cage, a nice deep full inhale, and just let your inhale flow right on into the exhale. No forcing here, make it easy. Tuning into self via your breath, letting your breath guide you into self, into those physical sensations. And with each breath, you might deepen a little bit more into your body. So that might look like breathing a little bit deeper down. So maybe their next breath, you breathe all the way down into your abdomen. If that doesn't feel good and grounding and comfortable for you, you might stay up in your chest. And with each breath, breathe a little bit deeper into your chest. Breathe a little bit deeper into your heart space. I highly invite you to play around here. When we're talking about embodiment work, when we're talking about connection with self, when we're talking about grounding, there's no one best way to do it. I've found, the way to do it is to practice and hold awareness with self as you do it. A teacher might cue something that's supposed to be grounding, but you don't receive it that way because it's not grounding. for your body, for your nervous system. So an invitation to keep breathing here, breathing into self, those grounding breaths. Tuning in, holding that awareness. How can you find that grounding in your body? Do you find it in that 3-dimensional expansion of your chest? Do you find it as you breathe into heart space? Do you find it as you take deepening breaths down through your chest, down into your abdomen, maybe down into your roots? So trying this one now. Breathing down into your seat in connection to the chair that holds you, or perhaps your feet on the floor, on the ground, on the earth beneath you. I have the pleasure of being right close to the ground right now, my feet directly in connection with the earth. That's not the case for most of us, most of the time. Feeling your feet on the surface that you are seated or standing on in this moment. And then from here, letting your breath continue to guide you. Maybe you deepen down even further. If you're inside, bringing your consciousness, your awareness, dropping it down through the floorboards until you find the earth beneath you. Dropping your awareness, your consciousness, your attention down through the floorboards, down into the earth beneath you. Finding that connection with the earth beneath you. You might close down your eyes and let images of dirt, rock, roots, soil filter in. Let the earth begin to speak to you as you continue these grounding breaths. What is here, down in the very ground, the very earth beneath your feet? And again, letting visuals come in if they're here. If you're not, don't try to force it. Maybe you simply feel that grounding in your body. Maybe there's something else here for you. So you continue those deep grounding breaths down into the earth beneath your feet. Taking those deep grounding breaths into the earth beneath your feet. And we're going to stay here for another few moments, continuing these deep grounding breaths, allowing this grounded connection to unfold with you and this earth, this grounding connection with this earth. Breathing deeply into your feet, down through your feet, down into the earth beneath you. If you want to stay here longer, you can hit that pause button. For now, I'm going to move us along, taking your time as you start to rise back up into self. Taking your time as you move up through the floorboards, up into the soles of your feet, maybe your seat in connection to the chair, but your root, finding your root, your base. Maybe again, that's in your seat, your tailbone, your sits bones, maybe it's in your feet, but that connection that grounds you to the earth beneath you. As you start to reconnect into self, once again, allowing your breath to guide you into self, returning fully into self here, feeling your breath in your body, your abdomen, and your chest. And breathing into self, breathing into your body, feeling again into that 3-dimensional expansion of your body as you breathe. As you maintain that grounded connection to earth, we just spent a little bit of time going deep into earth to find that deep grounding. But here, now that you're back up, your attention, your awareness fully in your body, can you now maintain that grounded connection down with Earth herself? Can you maintain that grounded connection, that connection with Earth beneath you, and finding it in your body in a way that feels good, solid, comforting, like you are so held, that like you are so okay. Receiving that as you feel that in your body. We're gonna start to shift back into some conversation. So allowing that practice to come to a close. That doesn't mean you need to, fully shift out of practice mode. We do this practice so that we can cultivate that state of grounding, that deeper embodiment, again, that connection to self, that connection to earth. And today in this practice, we did it through grounding, that deep grounding, finding that grounding within self. And we do this, yes, so that we can have moments when we're actively engaged in practices like this, where, we find that support, that nourishment, that release, that deep exhale, that relaxing into, right? There are these kind of immediate effects of practices like this. But more than that, the reason we do this practice is so that, the more we do it, the more we can find that we walk through life, feeling more grounded, feeling more embodied, feeling more connected, feeling more present. And again, we get a solid emphasis of that when we do these focused practices. But we do these practices so that we can go out in the world and that we can maintain that grounding even as we're out there in the chaos, the wild chaos, the great waves of fire, of darkness that are alive in our world today, that is hurting humanity, that is hurting our planet, our ecosystems, our atmosphere, right? And we do this earthly embodiment practice so that we can walk through life being the person that we each need to be, doing the things that we need to do during these wild times, right? And that's really, really why we're here on this wider platform that I've created here at Upward Slopes. We are the forest as the mountain mystic, right? We have many different spaces at play these days, but they all come together with this underlying theme that again has to do with this ability of showing up in life fully as ourselves in the world, a world that needs a lot of help right now. The world needs a lot of help right now. I was driving up through northern New Mexico up to Colorado today, and it's driving through forest fires again. There was one section where it's just driving through thick smoke, and I can drive up and sort of point out all the great swaths of land that have been burned in this area. And unfortunately, because of the people in power at this time, things are getting worse. Things are going to get worse before they are going to get better. And for a lot of people, that means defeat. For a lot of people, that means their nervous systems collapsing, not being able to hold it, maybe ignoring everything because we just can't deal. And the truth is we can't afford to do that. We can't afford to lose all of our beautiful forests, which is, the trajectory we're on. And of course, we know what that means, right? If as we lose more and more ecosystems because we are connected to this earth, right? It means direct implications for humanity as well as the plants, the animals, all of life out in the forest. So what we have to be able to do is maintain our grounding, and by grounding, as we practiced today, that means that felt sense, of being safe, of being okay. More than that, it means that feeling of connection, connection to ground, connection to this earth, connection to ground that, yes, holds you. You are being held in this moment and holds each and all of us as a humanity, as a forest. This ground that holds us as a collective, right? And this is what we get to know as we do this practice. And yes, in some ways it's a mental knowing, but more than that, it's a felt knowing. We do embodiment work because it's not just about what lives up in our heads. Yes, that's important. But more than that, it's what's happening in our hearts, right? And we can say that in a lovey-dovey, kind of airy-fairy way, but our hearts, right? And I'm going to come speak to you as a scientist and engineer at this point, right? I have a biomedical engineering background, and I've been doing a lot of research on the heart right now, and electromagnetic waves, and resonance in the heart and frequency in the heart. And we speak to grounding, we speak to connection in the heart, not being just a mechanical pump, also not being some like airy-fairy, light-filled, spiritual, energetic system, right? Like the heart, our hearts are these great discerners, right? Oftentimes we talk about discernment and we're thinking about the mind. But when I talk about discernment, I'm thinking about mind and connection to heart and all these pathways, all these connections that are biochemical, but they're also electromagnetic, and our hearts being these parts of self that, are really our main source of connection with the world outside of self. I talk a lot, right? I talk a lot about disconnection being the main reason we are in this great mess of things in this world right now. And what I mean is disconnection from self, disconnection mind from body, disconnection mind from heart, just as we are disconnected man from nature. And it is my belief that it is all really the same underlying pattern, right? When we disconnect from self, when we disconnect mind from body, when we disconnect mind from heart, we are initiating the process that is disconnecting self from nature. We are disconnecting self from each other. Again, speaking to the fact that our hearts are these parts of self that connect us to each other, to the forest, to this earth. So the path forward, right, out of this great mess of things is long. It's a long list, and it requires each one of us showing up in all the unique and powerful ways that we each can, solving the problems that need to be solved, working through the challenges that need to be addressed. As we do this, underlying all of it is this greater picture that has to do with reconnection, or else maybe a deepening into connection of what already exists. Sometimes I speak to this as a remembering. We haven't severed connections, but we have forgotten them. And because of that, they aren't as strong, as powerful as they're supposed to be, as they need to be. So our path forward, again, is long. There are many things that need to happen. But if you're here with me in this space, right here in this, sometimes I speak to it as a new earth space, again, not in some esoteric, airy-fairy, high and mighty spirituality, but in a boots on the ground, embodied, like, let's get to work. Let's finally move into that space, move into that way of being. A humanity that is not starting wars, but that is co-creating together, that isn't chopping forests down, but is regenerating the land, that is connecting with one another as a whole humanity, as we each get to shine our unique colors and all the beautiful ways that we do, expressing who we are as our sovereign individual selves. And it's a long road, but the good news is that each step of the way, we get to bring more light in with each step. So it's not about getting to an ultimate place where everything's perfect. It's about taking the steps every moment of every day to the ability that you are able. And it starts here. It starts here with grounding, because you can't do anything if you go out in the world and it takes you down. Yes, there are times where we can allow ourselves to be taken down. There's a magic and a power in the descent, in the crumbling. There's a time for that. And we have to be able to stand. We have to be able to stand. We have to be able to take the steps that need to be taken. So that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. If you want to go deeper, to do more practice, if you want to do it with me, to be in this embodiment practice with me, this earthly, new earth embodiment practice, live on Zoom in community, we have circles that are open to all right now. I, for the meantime, am making them free, keeping them free, open to all. You can donate. You can buy a We Are the Forest membership to help support my work here. All of that information can be found at upwardslopes.com/circle, or else upwardslopes.com/membership. Okay. I think I promised you. I don't know if I promised you this. I was thinking about promising you. I was going to talk about this trip I'm on. I'm up in the mountains, again, the San Juans. I'm up here for the next 3 days. So this is just the first video. I'm sure I'll be filming more, so more to come your way. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you have those notifications on so you know when those next videos are out. But I'm up here trail running, doing my thing. I am 2 weeks out from High Lonesome 100. I finished that event, my third 100-miler. That was up in the Sawatch Range, just to the east, northeast a little bit from here. I did that 2 weeks ago, so I'm still definitely recovering. I'm not fully back to myself, so I don't know how big I'm going to be able to go. I don't have any, major goals in terms of summiting peaks. I have a few peaks that I would like to revisit because I've summited most everything that I feel safe summiting around here, especially by myself. Yeah, just looking forward to be out on the trails up above tree line, hanging out with the last of the wildflowers here in August. It's going to start to shift into autumn, starting to see the first little trace of it. I was here at this same campsite last year. I recorded a guided autumn meditation. I'll link that one below, along with some of the others that I recorded on that trip. Maybe it's autumn by the time you're listening to this, maybe it's not, but you're kind of tuning in right now, and that energy of, and more of that grounding. Autumn is so much about release, letting go. It's also a lot about shining your own colors, calling in joy, calling in that light. And I think about the bright yellows, that beautiful expression of color that comes in autumn before we go into winter. So maybe that's speaking to you when you want to go watch those videos with those guided practices. Again, I'll link that below. But it's not in autumn yet, at least not for me. So I'm going to go hang out in the wildflowers, the green grasses that cover the rolling mountains here above tree line. Yeah, I'm sure I'll share more in the next videos that I know I'm going to create while I'm up here. So again, make sure you're subscribed. If you're watching this a little bit later, maybe those videos are out and you can go check them out. Yeah. As always, leave a comment. Let me know you're listening. Let me know what's getting pinged for you. Let me know if there's a version of this practice that you would like me to do so we can go deeper. Now, maybe it's into heart space. Maybe it's deeper into that connection with Earth. Yeah, let me know. And I look forward to catching you next time.